Alright, today I've actually got a couple of pretty exciting specimens. Even though they're very tiny, they're exciting because of what they are. This is a parasitic beetle that only lives on mountain beavers, called a beaver beetle. And I have a beaver flea. I've been wanting to get one of these for years. These are the largest known fleas. Now when I say beaver, these are not coming off of regular beavers. These are living on mountain beavers, which is a different mammal than a regular beaver, and they're found here in the Pacific Northwest. These came from the state of Washington on the native mountain beavers. Now these are very tiny, so I'm going to take this opportunity to illustrate how to prepare very tiny insects for collections. I'm going to do two techniques. One of them is using a point. You can see I have a little piece of paper here, a pointed piece of paper. I'm going to use this for the beaver beetle, and then the beaver flea I'm going to mount on a label, just glue it to a card. And these are both techniques that are used in research collections, the pointing especially. This gluing them on the card is, well, other than just seeming obvious of a thing to do, was a technique that was used in German collections at some point. I saw a bunch of these at the Cal Academy of Sciences, where the specimens glued with the legs all spread out. The only trouble with this is the limiting factors, how strong the glue is. If the glue fails, the specimen falls off. So I've never seen that happen. Anyway, we're going to do the mountain beaver first, the beaver beetle first. If I can get it out of here. I got these from a friend of mine who's got a lot of contacts. These parasites are not easy to get because the beavers aren't common or abundant, and so they're difficult to get. You can see this thing's really tiny. Okay, so the first thing we do is get a point and put a pin through it. It's not a very big piece of paper, so use a fairly small pin. Use like a 1. Maybe I'll use a 0. I'm going to use a 0. And then just push that through the wide end of the point. It's a little hard to get that through. Use my tweezers to push it down. Wow, there we go. Now when you see a large series of insects mounted on points, it's pretty impressive. I'll post a photograph here of a collection of those. And typically they'll have some kind of a block so that the point is always at the same height in the collection. It's one of those things that entomologists do. Now to do this, I'll take the tip of this and I'll bend it down slightly. And then the idea is to attach the specimen to the side of this point, and the point actually holds the side of the specimen. And this is so you can put it under a microscope and look at it in detail if you want to see the tiny little features on the insect. Okay, so I'm going to place this into the foam. Do it this way. And this point's right here right at the level of the foam, so I can work on it. And we want this specimen mounted so the top is up, bottom down, and the point is just touching the side of the specimen. So I'm going to have to look at this specimen real closely so I can tell which is the top. Okay, got it flipped right side up. Now take a pin Get a little bit of glue. A little bit of glue. Just a little. And we'll put this right on the end of the point. Just a little, because we don't want to glue the specimen to the styrofoam. Then we'll gently pick up the beetle, touch it to the side of the beetle. There. And then we can use some small pins, if need be, to brace the beetle so that when it dries, it's perpendicular to the point. There. Yeah. Alright, now we'll do the flea. Use tweezers to get it out. These have been preserved in alcohol. I'm excited to get this flea. I've been wanting one of these for years. It really is a big flea. I guess they vary in size. Some of them can be as big, I have heard, as a ½ an inch, which seems pretty big to me. This one's about 5 millimeters, I think, which is still a pretty decent sized flea. Now, there's my research on this showed that there were 2 different species that live on mountain beavers, Stricoscylla and Dolichocylus. I don't know which one this is, and I tried to figure it out. And, well, once I get it pinned and I can look at it with a microscope, then maybe I can figure it out. So, to do this mount, I'll take a label, and these are the standard labels that I use. These come in different sizes, but this is the size I typically use. And we'll use a pin a little bit bigger. I'll use like a 2. Put it through one side. And it's pretty simple. Just take a dot of glue on the card. Not too much, just enough to hold it. And then lift the flea, place it on the glue, and then position it. So it's nice and flat. And that's it. Couldn't be easier. Alright, so I've got the labels made. I don't have the data on these other than just the year, the species name, and the common name. I do know the person who gave me these, so I'm going to ask him about it and see if I can get some locality data on it. So this is for the beetle mounted on the point. I'm going to punch a hole with this with another pin first, because that pin is pretty small. Make it difficult to get it through. There. And the flea, same thing, I just have the species name. Actually, I just put the genus because I wasn't sure which one it was. I'll see if I can figure that out too. Apparently there's 2. Actually, I can slide these specimen cards up a little bit. A little more distance. There. Slide this point up a little bit too. That's it. Not very exciting to look at, but I will check them out under a microscope. And finally, here are some other fleas for size comparison. These are cat fleas. The smaller ones on top are the males, and the larger ones are the females. This is a dog flea, and this is the beaver flea. Now, the beaver flea is maybe a third, again, as long as the dog flea. Has quite long legs. These cat and dog fleas are much more laterally compressed, and the beaver flea is more sort of cylindrical in shape, and it is certainly quite a bit bigger. Now all I need is a human flea.